It all began here. We thought we'll go to a village. We started an organic farm.
My son was 1 year old, and what kind of milk do I give him? Being a parent, you're only thinking about what is best for your child. That's when we started with 100 cows. The mother and the babies, they are all living together.
We only use the milk beyond what the calf drinks.
So this is basically where the transformation happens.
Yes, the milk is converted to the various different sweets. One is making of the chana, which is your base for your Bengali sweets. The rasgulla, the rasmalai, the cham cham.
I can smell the toasty aroma that you associate with sohan papadi already in this.
The syrup gets absorbed step by step into strands of the sugar that are being formed.
The Mysore Pak is telling you I'm done, I'm ready. I love the glisten on that motichoor ladoo. Ksheer mohan. Best part I love about this sweet is its near state of weightlessness. If air had texture, it would be a ksheer mohan. So imagine the Mysore Pak traveled to distant lands, met a lot of friends along the way, and it said, I want to take on some of those qualities. Well, that's what the pataka Pak is all about.
ಇವತ್ತು ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಸ್ವೀಟ್ ಹೌಸಿನ 30ನೇ ಔಟ್ಲೆಟ್ನ ಇನಾಗ್ರೇಷನ್ ನಡೀತಿದೆ. ಈ ಉದ್ಘಾಟನೆಯನ್ನ ನಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರ ಪ್ರೀತಿಯ ಅಚ್ಚುಮೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಕೃಪಾಲ್ ಅಮ್ಮಣ್ಣ ಅವರು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ.
ಒಳ್ಳೆದಾಗ್ಲಿ, ಒಳ್ಳೆದಾಗ್ಲಿ. I'm very happy to be launching the 30th outlet of India Sweet House here in Whitefield. Namaskara folks, this is Kripal, Gourmet on the Road, and you're watching Food Lovers TV. I've just inaugurated the 30th store of India Sweet House. But before we get to tasting the Mithai, let's step outside to explore the fascinating journey of how this began. And let me tell you, it's a beginning that will indeed leave you surprised. Let's go. We are in a village called Chikkamaranahalli, roughly around 40 odd kilometers from Bengaluru, and we are here to explore the fascinating story of how it all began for India Sweet House. Good quality mithai needs good quality milk, and to know more about that, we are here at Karma Farms in Chikkamaranahalli, Nelamangala. Namaskara.
Sir, namaste.
What a wonderful place this is.
Thank you. Thank you for coming here today.
No, it's my pleasure. Just yesterday, we were inaugurating the 30th store in the hustle and bustle of Whitefield, and look at where we are today. It almost seems magical.
Yes, it all began here. Our vision is here, all our dreams lie here, frankly.
Of course, we never dreamt of this scale to where we stand today. But yes, this is the feeder.
So it began with you wanting to set up a farm.
Yes, the idea came from that because we used to run a software company and a call center of sorts, right? A BPO company, 1,000, 2,000 people working with us, and that was the story.
And like every corporate person, you always want to do something other than what you're doing. And food is something that everybody wants to, venture into.
We wanted to get into farming and agriculture because we come from an agrarian community, and all our forefathers have been, doing that. So somewhere I think there was this disconnect in my parents' generation where I think they had taken a smarter move of saying it's not profitable, let's not venture into it. So they were all into government jobs and things like that. So we thought we should keep that custom alive. We should have fields and farms and things like that.
But tell me one thing, I'm just seeing vegetable garden. So when you gave up your 1,000-person BPO and call center and all that, you said, okay, Nani ga tarkari. I'm going to grow vegetables. What is the reaction?
Very surreal, frankly speaking. It feels so nice that we embarked on something like this because basics in the family was already taken care. Now we want to give back something to the society. We want to do something like that. So we thought we'll go to a village, take up large tracts of land. That's where we started an organic farm.
So out here everything is organic.
It's all organic.
And how big is this farm now?
This is about 6 acres.
6 acres.
As of now. This is a 25 to 30-year-old mango orchard. Of course, not so remunerative. So we thought, how do we add value? So we thought organic farming. We saw this, gap in coconut farming. A lot of farmers were keen on growing coconut, but the traditional coconut tree would take about even 8-9 years of yield to start giving you nuts. It's very difficult, right? To survive with that kind of an income. Then there was these hybrid nuts, which would grow only up to about 25-30 feet and produce about 200 to 300 nuts in a particular year, and would start yielding in 3 years actually. So we set up a plant. We actually distribute this to local farmers.
So this wasn't part of the plan then, right? I see this India Sweet House truck says now in Bengaluru, Mysore, Tumkur, Hassan, Hubli, Shimoga, Udupi, Mangaluru. So from all of that, how did India Sweet House happen?
You just heard about, how we started with the organic farming, and that's when we bought a lot of cows. We started with 100 cows. We wanted to make it 100% organic. So we clearly wanted the dung. Right?
Oh, so you got the cows for the manure?
For the
Only.
manure. Lucky it also gave us milk.
So you didn't want to do the easier way out of just going and buying manure and all of that?
No.
You wanted to make your own manure?
Yeah.
Of course, there's quality as well, right? You want to get it 100% right, so it's not questionable. So we attended a training and understood how cows are reared, what is dairy farming and all that. We then got the farm certified as organic. What the cows eat determines how the quality of milk is.
So the fodder is organic?
Fodder is organic. We grow our own fodder and we create a balanced diet for the cows, and that's what is fed to them to get the kind of milk that we want.
So we started bottling up milk, started delivering organic milk in glass bottles, and we picked up the bottles the next day. Alongside door delivery of milk, we were also supplying milk in bulk for sweet manufacturing. And what happened during COVID was, of course, sweet was not a necessity. So we were left with excess milk. Milk is all about how you handle it. In the initial few hours, your time starts ticking the minute the milk is out of the udder. Then we started to see how we can increase the shelf life of milk, convert it into a byproduct. It can be butter, ghee, but yet there was this large chunk of milk that was left behind. By which time, we got in touch with our, the sweet company to see and understand what is it to actually run a sweet brand or make your own sweets. You have control over quality in the first place because you have great milk, and then you make your own products and you sell it to your own customers.
So that's how it began.
That's how it began.
And it made a beginning here in the farm.
We thought, it has to be like the West, where you have the cattle and then you see how the milk is extracted, if I can use that, and then how you manufacture them. And also set up a facility where our customers can actually come stay with us on the farm, experience the farm life, and then probably become our patrons to use our products.
So even your whole approach is very organic.
Our only thought process was that put yourself in that place and how you like it. At that point in time when we were thinking what after corporate, I had just then taken a break from my corporate life. We had a child then. My son was 1 year old, and what kind of milk do I give him? Being a mother or being a parent, you're only thinking about what is best for your child.
So that is why organic. It wasn't because organic was a buzzword or whatever.
Not at all.
It's about feeding your child something wholesome.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah.
And how long did you take before you ran out of the space that you had in this sweet manufacturing facility?
4 months.
4 months. It probably
Just
take you
4.
longer to build that.
Exactly.
We have a milking parlor just behind this kitchen.
Yeah.
So the milk travels directly from the
Oh.
pipeline straight
Through
into
the-
the
this
farm.
one.
Into the kitchen where the sweets are made.
Where the sweets are made.
So of course today you probably need a 40-kilometer long pipeline from
to
your
get to today's kitchen, yeah.
dairy farm to the kitchen.
Yes.
But I can hear the cows moving in the background. I think it's time to pay a visit to the cows.
Yes. This is where our cows are. This is a quarantine area where the just delivered mothers are housed along with their calves.
So the one thing I see out here is like this is not a typical stable. The cows have all this property to themselves.
We don't tie any of our cows. The mother and the babies, they are all living together.
This is what variety of?
She is a Saiwal. They're native to Rajasthan basically. Their quality of milk is very good. Their fat percentages is about 5 to 6 kind of a thing.
So is that her calf?
Yes. They're in this quarantine zone for about 3 months.
Okay. So they're nursing their calf.
They're nursing their calves, and we only use the milk beyond what the calf drinks. Our cost of production of milk is way higher than a typical dairy as such. In a typical dairy, they wouldn't allow the calves to have their mother's milk. It's all taken for sale.
Whereas out here, she has a calf with her, so she's also comfortable.
Yes.
The calves are comfortable.
Comfortable.
They look very cute actually. Oh, this is corn. You're actually feeding corn?
Yes, it's very important, right?
Okay.
Actually, corn has a lot of milk content in it. Cow has to give you good yield of milk and whatever. We need to feed them with the right diet.
So it's not just any hay or any grass or whatever,
That can't work. That can't work. You'll be surprised to know that a full-grown cow would eat about 50 kgs of feed a day.
Really?
Right?
So 50 kilos of this every day.
Yes. What we do with this is something called as silage, right?
Okay.
We actually cut this freshly, put it into an underground pit with every layer of chopped greens. We put in, say, some quantity of curd.
Yogurt.
Yogurt, yes. Jaggery, okay.
Bella.
Bella and uppu. So we put this in multiple layers, right? And then again go on with another layer of fresh greens, and the fermentation process starts, which we call as the pickling effect, for about 45 days at least.
Oh, okay. Only then can it be.
Can it be fed to the cows? Because then, the nutrition is enhanced. We milk them in the morning at 4 a.m.
Okay.
and again milking happens at 4 p.m. in the evening.
Oh, twice.
They're free range. They decide when to stand up, when to sit down, where to sit down.
We also have food and water available always. So they don't really have to wait for food or water.
Yeah, freedom is at their...
I can see all the corn here. So this is the corn that went into that
yes.
pit. So this has fermented for about 45 days.
Just smell this. Yeah.
It's also very warm.
Yeah. With this heat, the breakdown happens.
So even when they're eating, busy is there. Busy uta for the cows also. Well, the buffet for the cows is laid out, so all the cows have made quick work, huh? In less than a minute, I think we already have a lineup of how many cows here. There are at least about 12 or 15.
Yes, yes. Each compartment has about 12 to 15 cows that could eat comfortably without fighting for their own space, you see.
Are they aggressive cows? Are they?
Yes. We will find, just like us, some of us are aggressive, some of us are not. So it's all part of the package, you see. This is a feed. It's made out of corn, basically. Additives, I should say, magnesium.
So it's got minerals.
It's got minerals and things like that.
So this is like the multivitamin.
Yeah, it's a supplement for them.
A supplement, but a natural one.
It's a natural one because it's also got a few pure form of stuff as well. But it is being given basis their health score currently, right?
I think the cows on this side are now complaining.
I'm not.
Because they've not got their food and these guys have got their food. So that's what I think they are mooing loudly. Is that why?
Yes.
A large part of the diet is primarily corn.
Yeah, because source of energy, and the sweet corn that you saw is a source of milk.
If you drink the milk as is the raw milk from our farm, you will find it slightly sweeter than the regular milk.
We feed corn and we also give them soya. This is the difference you see in a single source milk, right? You're seeing a place where there are more than 100 cows, being fed and managed in a way, and you understand what they're being fed. So the result of the milk is what they eat and consume.
Out here what they're doing is they're not just looking at the ingredients that go into the mithai, they're going all the way back to the cows.
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So if you take care of the cows, you get great milk. And if you get great milk, you get great mithai.
Great Mithai, and philosophically, maybe a better life as well.
Well, karma.
Karma again.
There is this belief that only Indian cows milk is organic. It's not the gene, right? Because the HFs and the jerseys have been here around for about 50, 60 or over 70 years now.
They've acclimatized.
Yeah, they've acclimatized.
So-
It's the fodder and what you feed the cow makes the difference of being organic or not.
Sir, you're Jaganna anta. Okay.
Namaskara, sir.
Jaganna is an expert. He's done a lot of work in the dairy movement. Actually, in this farm, we had organized dairy trainings to farmers who want to get into dairy training.
So I noticed that also your cows here,
Yeah.
ಬಾಡಿ ಬಿಲ್ಡರ್ ಟೈಪ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಇದು ಎಷ್ಟು ವೇಟ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಜಗಣ್ಣ ಇವ್ರದ್ದು?
ಈಗ 1 ಟನ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ ಸರ್.
1 ಟನ್ 1,000 ಕಿಲೋ.
ಹೌದೌದು. ಅದು 1.5 ಟನ್ ಬರ್ತದೆ.
1.5 ಟನ್. I don't see bones on the cows. I see mostly good muscle mass.
It's because of the diet.
Oh,
The
okay.
diet, and they're free range. They have food abundantly. They have water abundantly. They're at their will. So it's a
ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಲೈಫ್ನಲ್ಲಿ, ಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಇದು ಕೌಸಿಗೆ. ದೇ ಬಿಂಗ್ ಫೆಡ್ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ಲಿ, ದೇರ್ಸ್ ಫುಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ದೆಮ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಟೈಮ್. ದೇ ಗೆಟ್ ಮಿಲ್ಕ್ ಟ್ವೈಸ್ ಅ ಡೇ. ದೇ ಆರ್ ವಿತ್ ದೇ calves and they have all this area to freely graze upon. Such a happy sight to see them all enjoying their uta. Up until now, my association with India Sweet House has been limited at the store.
yeah.
Right? But to actually come here to a place of nature
Yeah.
where animals are being cared for
Exactly.
with so much love and thoughtfulness. I mean, that I'm sure must be fulfilling at a certain level.
Totally. We've been inspired by Sadhguru.
Karma means you're the maker of your life.
You take complete responsibility of your actions
Yeah.
and the repercussions.
So adigoskara karma farms.
Karma farm, and Sadhguru keeps saying this, right? Your life is as fulfilling only when you touch other people's life. And if that life is somebody who can't talk, and I thought it is even more better.
Thank you for inviting us to take a look at this fascinating aspect.
It's our absolute pleasure.
We once happened to also meet Sadhguru in person. He clearly said one thing: what is the point if you don't do what you can do? It's been 3 years now since we opened our first store, and today we stand at the 30th. That is what has resulted in where we stand today.
Fantastic. Well, on that note, I hope you've enjoyed this tour around Karma Dairy Farm. I think next it's time to head to the factory and take a look at how the milk that comes from these magnificent cows out here goes into the sweet making at India Sweet House. Let's go.
Sir, namaskara.
Namaskara, how are you?
I'm well. Welcome again.
Thank you very
Yes.
much.
Sir, this is Mr. Rajesh, co-founder. What should I say? Well, we were supplying milk to the sweet companies along with residents. We happened to be supplying milk to Rajesh, and we kind of hit on a good note, and we thought, why don't we start our own sweet brand?
Fantastic. Well, we were at Karma Dairy Farms yesterday. Today we've made our way to the India Sweet House factory here in Bengaluru, where we are meeting Vishwanath once again, and also Rajesh Mehta, his co-founder, to watch the delicious transformation that the milk makes from the farm in Nelamangala to delicious Mithai out here in Bengaluru. And these are the sweets that go to all your 30.
Down to all the 30 outlets.
Including Shimoga, Udupi and Mangalore.
So the milk from the farm has found its way here.
By about 6:30, the milk is here at the factory.
And how much milk do you typically get on a given day?
Close to about 2,000 liters, I should say.
2,000 liters. So this is a start. This is the beginning.
This is where it all starts.
So what's the most important ingredient for a sweet factory?
Sugar.
Sugar.
That's your topmost ingredient, your dry fruits, ghee. I would say these constitute to almost about 70% of your.
So when you say ghee, of course, milk is included in that.
Of course. Apart from this, if you take, you have your dry powders like your besan, maida. So these are the key ingredients. There are close to, I think, almost about 250 plus ingredients that go into making the variety of sweets that we have. When any of the raw materials are received, they are checked for quality. Once the QA team approves of the quality, then it is taken inward into the store.
Fantastic. So that's the oil that you...
Yes. So we don't use the palm oil.
And this even for the savouries that you make, this is what would get you. So no vegetable fats.
No. We try to avoid these things which could create doubts in the minds of the customers.
I see this gram flour here. Does it come from certain areas, certain places?
So for our ladoo, we get besan from Kanpur. In fact, even in the besan, we have different roughages. So there's a smooth besan, there's a medium besan, and there's a rough besan. The taste of the product would vary depending on what you use.
And I can see sacks and sacks of sugar.
Sugar is one product which generally comes by auction. So there's never a guarantee of you getting the same product or the same mill batch to batch. So we've gone one step ahead and said, no, we will take it from the mill. And that's why we stick on to one particular brand for all the sweets that we do.
So there is a traceability that we can track as to if at all there is anything, right? It's also a norm, but seldom people follow that, right?
So Rajesh, how long have you been involved in the process of making sweets?
This, I think, is the 25th year.
25th year.
Yes.
So what's important with all the standardization that happens with ingredients, in all of this still, the sweet maker's role, is that more, is that less?
The skill of the sweet maker is always of prime importance because you can have the best of the car. If you don't know how to drive it, it's of no use. It's not important about the ingredients or the number of items that go into it. What time, at what temperature, in what way gives you the difference in the quality of the product.
So out here, it's not just the recipe, but it's understanding the nuances, right? And also maybe the weather can also play a role, right?
Course,
On a cold day versus a hot day.
So if you see India Sweet House, we try to create the sweets of India. No matter what we do, we can possibly only get about 90% of it because 10% we cannot recreate weather and water, which is a very, very key factor for any particular sweet from a region to give you that taste and that wow feeling which comes in that place itself.
Loads of cashew.
In the dry fruits, 85% is cashew.
So the special grade chosen for the kaju katli, especially because we don't use any work on our sweets.
We need the cashew to be white as much as possible naturally. There's no requirement of creating a color. It's a natural color that comes in.
I can smell the hingu here. So this is like your spice aisle.
Yeah.
So all your spices go here. Oh, bellali kuda eradu grade ideya.
There are 4 types of bellas.
4 types of bella.
4 types of bella. Jaggery is very critical in using the right type because the end product varies a lot with it.
Sourcing is a very important part of the entire sweet industry. I understand cows, they are very important, no doubt about it. But yeah, sourcing the other 200, 300 items that we consume is equally important.
So I guess once the cows have done their job, well, these guys out here need to do their job to ensure that they get the right ingredients to make for the kind of mithai and namkeen that they would like to serve in Namma, Bengaluru. Of course, now it's a lot beyond that. So this is the heart of all the action.
Like I said, all the sweets are made on this floor. We broadly segregated this into 3-4 sections. You have the milk section, then you have the maida and the besan section, then you have the dry fruit sweet section, the khoa section, and the ghee frying sweet section. So this is the ghee frying section wherein we do your jangris, jalebis, chandrakala, suryakala.
So he's eating the ghee right now.
He's eating the ghee to make the jangri. The jangri batter is getting ready in the grinding section. So once that is ready, he will start the swirling of the jangris.
So this is basically where the transformation happens.
Yes, the milk is converted to the various different sweets. One is making of the chana, which is your base for your Bengali sweets. The rasgulla, the rasmalai, the chumchams, all your chana based sweet. So we first start with the boiling of the milk. Since we use raw milk which comes from the udder, it's important for us to boil the milk before it is used. It's very important to use raw milk for chana based sweets because that is what gives you the best quality and the best output.
I can also see that the milk here is quite thick and creamy.
That's the advantage of having our own sauce. Our fat is typically anywhere between 4.7 to 4.8% fat.
Well, ideally I would have liked to watch the milk cook, but out here we're chasing the various processes and many of them are time dependent.
Exactly. Some of them are very, very time dependent because a small time gap could totally make us waste the whole batch. Especially in things like son papdi, which is very, very particular. Difference in the bitterness and the perfect taste is the timing of the sugar syrup.
So we're going to watch the making of the son papdi and then we'll return to the milk and the chena and all the sweets that get produced with it.
So this is a pure sugar. This
Okay.
is one of the key components of the son papdi. Basically, there are very few ingredients in son papdi. It's your sugar, maida, besan, and ghee. This is basically your candy making process.
Okay.
This at the moment is the aeration of the sugar. Exceedingly hot, and this needs to be done very carefully, very quickly, and it has to be done by skilled people.
I love the manner in which they're stretching that sugar.
The figure of eight is formed basically because you cannot notice it now. It's the strands which are being formed. This is the batter which goes into the son papdi making. So this is a mixture of maida, besan, and ghee in a particular ratio.
I can smell the toasty aroma that you associate with son papdi already in this.
So this will be added to the candy or the sugar what we saw, and then it's going to be pulled into the son papdi.
Oh, wonderful.
The syrup gets absorbed step by step into strands of the sugar that are being formed.
Into the fine strands.
Fine strands that are being formed.
I can already see some of the finer strands beginning to take shape out here as the son papdi of India Sweet House is getting prepared.
I think son papdi needs to deserve its due credit because the amount of effort that goes into making a batch is tremendous. And not only that, this whole process is so time bound that it's a matter of a minute before a batch can be converted to son papdi or be wasted and had to be discarded.
So next time when you put that piece of son papdi in your mouth, well, you need to understand and remember the effort that's gone into its making.
Now you can actually see the strands being.
In some cases you have the fine strands and then some it's still solid.
This is a Banarsi type of son papdi. You'll eat it like a barfi, and as it cools down, you'll be able to get the very clear demarcation of the strands at every level. So this is your final process of the son papdi once it is pulled to a particular consistency.
It's fascinating to watch how the son papdi is coming together. From that blob of very malleable sugar syrup to that roasted,
Besan, maida mix.
and then the combination of it in the figure eight which results in the strands, and finally resting that mix in this tray on a bed of pista and almonds. Oh, they're delicious. I'm already adding this to my list of favorite sweets at India Sweet House. Whilst we were busy with watching the son papdi, I think the milk is boiling here.
Milk is ready now for curdling. So this is your next process after the milk comes from the farm, after it is boiled, curdled and made into chana, which forms your basis for all your Bengali sweets.
The entire atmosphere here now in the factory is filled with the aroma of boiled milk.
Yes.
The entire process of sweet making is very traditional. That's why you see no mechanization being done. People may feel, it seems a little unhygienic, you're using bare hands. But that's a fact, right? You're making it with your hands, it's handcrafted.
I mean, I can imagine, for example, that son papdi mix is so hot. If you were to use gloves, the gloves would stick into the son papdi and your son papdi would be colored blue. That's right. So I think many a times we need to remember these traditions. They're making traditional mithai here. They're not making mass-produced candy.
So basically the milk has been boiled and filtered. Now to this we will add the whey water for curdling.
So the whey water will go in curdle it to make the chena.
To make the chana. You'll slowly see granular formations happening, and then you'll suddenly find chunks of the chana getting together.
And that's almost instantly.
That's almost instant.
I can already see that. So how long does the entire process take now?
It's about 4-5 minutes and you'll have the chana ready. This will basically be strained out now into a cloth and then massaged. This lumpy structure becomes more like a pasty structure, which is required to shape it into different forms of Bengali sweets. This is the typical, actual traditional way of how it's made in Bengal.
Okay.
Using the butti, using the cloth, draining it out in this manner. The chana settling down, the whey is coming on top. So once the chana is ready, what we saw, and then it is massaged into a paste and formed into these various shapes. Could be your malai cham cham, malai roll. This could be your kheer mohan, your rasmalais. They have your rasgullas. Then you have your malai sandwich and champakalis. So these are various different shapes which are then finished into the final product. They cook. This is cooked in sugar syrup. So this is not a deep fried product. So that's why they consider Bengali or the chena based sweets to be more healthy. If you actually remove the sugar from this and only eat the base, it's very healthy because it's high protein, it's a pure milk product, and since it's boiled in sugar syrup, it doesn't carry the amount of fat. What we saw, the small balls of chena being made, they finally swell up after boiling in the sugar syrup and come up to this level.
So how long does it have to cook?
Each batch takes about 15 to 20 minutes, cools down for some time, and then based on the product, it's either removed from the sugar syrup and finished into different products, or it is put into the milk for rasmalai, or it is restored into a different sugar syrup for it to be sent to the store for consumption. It's your typical Bombay halwa, available in different regions, in different names and different types.
So out here you have a machine that's doing it.
Depends on the batch size, we either use the kadai or the machine.
What's that, ghee, is it?
Ghee.
I love the manner in which that Bombay halwa has got a generous splashing of the tuppa after all that cashew has gone in.
That's about 50 kgs of halwa. Again, very time bound. If you leave it for a little bit, and if it's like this, then I cannot shape it. So now they will set it, make it level.
Is there any setting agent for this?
No, corn flour itself acts as your thickening agent.
So the corn flour and the sugar does that job.
Cornstarch, maida, sugar.
I love the manner in which that halwa is bobbing around in that ghee. It's about 12:30 in the afternoon. I usually break my fast somewhere around this time. Watching all these sweets being prepared is definitely not helping me. So maybe today we'll break our fast early, but on a sweet note. And this, of course, is the jangri.
A product which is available pan-India, different names in different regions. Everybody calls its own characteristic color, the amount of sweetness that they use, the kind of sugar syrup that they dip it in. This begins with the urad dal, and that's made into a batter, and then you have small batches which are poured into the ghee for frying. This is one sweet where the skill of the maker is the most key. Like we said, we can give the best of the ingredients, but if the person cannot shape it into this, it will never be called a jangri. This is the making of one of the most popular sweets in India, which is your motichoor ladoo.
So what I notice out here is that all your batches, it's like small batches. You're not making large batches.
It's very important to maintain the consistency. Everything has got a science and a process behind it, because unfortunately in the sweet industry, since we don't have too many machines or automation, what we call it, it's very difficult for us to do very large batches. Another important part for us is that we try to avoid using color wherever possible. This is purely made out from saffron, which is dipped in a little bit of milk, and that gives it that color to the bundi. The bundi is then mixed into the syrup, and it's given more like a dum. Once it is mixed up and soaked a little bit, you will just cover it and leave it for it to actually absorb the entire sugar syrup with the kesar. This is what comes out of it. This is a different bundi which we use for the Tirupati ladoo, which is a slightly bigger bundi that we use. Pride of our state, the Mysore pak. Basically, it starts off with a small batch. What we are doing is here is the special Mysore pak, or the softer version of the Mysore pak.
So the sugar is gone in, also some tuppa, and now the gram flour. So this will of course cook for a while before you...
It's about half an hour, 45 minutes. You keep adding ghee at different
Tuppa.
levels. Yeah.
To get that very luscious tuppa, the Mysore pak.
The differentiator for our Mysore pak is that the ghee that we use is actually not the cow ghee, but the buffalo ghee. So even this comes from a single particular vendor who's got a farm of buffalo milk. This is your kaju pista roll. You can have a try of this. Kaju chocolate roll. This is again made using the basic kaju paste of kaju and sugar, with actual real chocolate. This is the chocolate rice, or the chocolate sprinklers, what they call.
So this is what chocolate? Do you use compound chocolate?
We use compound, yes.
Chocolate also has kaju in
So
it.
this, like over there, what we saw, the kaju and the pista center. Here, it's a kaju center with a kaju and chocolate top. So this is another variation of the kaju sweets. This is a caramel kaju gujia. It's got a filling of caramel sauce with some nuts in the inside. Then it's coated with a kaju paste, that's a kaju sugar paste, topped with roasted nuts. Then what you see them doing is now decorating it with the white chocolate sauce. The end product is really tasty. The kaju katli is without warak. This is how it goes into all the 30 stores. Request you to taste one just to see whether there's any difference in the taste. Now we started a variation in this of a jaggery kaju katli as well.
Over jaggery kaju katli. You know what I really appreciate in your sweets is the level of sweetness. It's just enough. Now I'm tasting more the flavor of the cashew. I'm tasting it slightly held together. It's not very powdery.
Right, so we use the paste form of this. So we cook this by pasting the cashew and then adding sugar to it.
Whenever we do any batch, basically, the concerned person who's on that particular job, after he completes his work, he offers the first one as a bhog to the Devi. This is Linga Bhairavi, Devi form of Shiva.
So every batch, every sweet, before it gets consumed by a customer,
Yeah.
is first offered.
So it's very tricky to ensure this consistency all the time. While we have our processes which we feel is correct to the logical mind, but beyond that, just for the grace of God, we make sure.
Basically seeking divine grace.
Yes, and also I think it's a tradition because at home also, whenever you have any kind of a program, function or an event, you generally take out one thali or one plate of meal and you offer it to your house gods and goddesses.
So I think now that we've offered
We
bhog,
can taste.
we
Laddu
can
straight from
also
the plate.
taste some. Fantastic. I love the glisten on that motichoor laddu. I've already broken my fast in smaller quantities, but this time with the motichoor. I like that toasty flavor of the besan that you're getting in that. Also, the sugar here is not over the top.
Across the entire range, our sugar contents are minimal.
Very soft, very delicate. In fact, you almost feel sad, sorry that you're breaking into it. And also, of course, the lushness of the tuppa.
Bundi is fried in pure ghee. And sugar contents of all the sweets are low. We also do a lot of sugar alternative mithais. Not using artificial sweeteners, but using honey, using jaggery.
So good.
After about half an hour to about 40 minutes and spoon by spoon of ghee going into this, the Mysore pak is actually now ready to be poured out into the tray.
And I can tell you when it's ready, when the tuppa starts leaving the Mysore pak.
Exactly.
The Mysore pak is telling you, I'm done, I'm ready. But the cooking of the Mysore pak doesn't stop here. It actually cooks within the tray, and that's the reason why you get the different
Exactly.
colors.
And as it slowly cools down, that's how you get the inner center core as a darker color,
Darker color.
and the edges are lighter in color.
So the top will always be the lightest
Yes.
because that cools the fastest.
Yes.
It's a little thickish.
This is how it seems when we're putting it in the tray and setting it.
Okay.
But once it is set, you will get the same characteristics of the regular Mysore pak. Nowadays, there are lots of variations of Mysore pak that have come in. You have the Kaju Mysore pak, you have the Badam Mysore pak, then you have your traditional, the hard Mysore pak, the soft Mysore pak. We have started even the jaggery Mysore pak. We are experimenting with Ragi Mysore pak.
So the aromas here are very different.
Here you'll get a lot of the spicy, savoury aromas because we are at the namkeen section. Bulk of the work over here happens early morning because chaats needs to go out every day fresh. So this section actually starts at about 3:34 in the morning.
Okay.
Prepares the entire chaat work, and then they start with the rest of the namkeens like your gujiyas and the saves and the mixtures. Then we make the samosas for the second round of supplies. Chaats is basically more of a crowd puller. It's something which you can have on a day-to-day basis. And the moment you bite into a chaat, you'll want to get into a sweet or a beverage. A badam milk comes in.
So that's where this samosa fits in.
Yes.
I love the aroma that's coming through this. Is there also some amchur that goes in?
Yes, there's amchur powder in it, other spices that go into it.
After spending a lot of time downstairs, And watching the mithai, tasting the mithai, I think the palate is yearning for something a little spicy. It's getting closer to meal time. It's spicy, it's sour.
And when it goes into the covering of the maida patti, it mellows down the whole.
Correct. I can also taste now the very robust flavors of the garam masala.
This is basically a veg patty.
The veg patty, wonderful.
Kaju badam mixture is actually one of our top hits in the show.
Different dals go into it, different dry fruits go into it. Then this is all put together with the spice mix. There is chana dal, there is split moong dal, mot, peas, there's kabuli, and there is a small chanas which are there.
I think the ratio of the dry fruits are more than the...
It is about say 65-35.
And I love the fact that the raisins have been fried.
Deep fried, yes. So again, all these components are in a particular ratio.
So they've all been fried first.
They've all been fried first. Nuts are fried in ghee. All the other dals, everything is fried in oil. And there's a proportion to every product. And then it all comes together and mixed in this container to form the final product.
So this also looks like a very healthy sort of a product because there's so many dry fruits, dals, and you need a little bit of fat in the oil. Melon seeds.
Cashews and kharbuja beach.
The badam, kishmish and the pista. So this is a spice mix.
Yes.
Can I taste a bit of that spice mix?
It's a mixture of the ready spices, which is in a certain proportion, which is mixed for a particular product.
There's some sugar in it. I can taste some
Light,
sweetness.
very light.
Is there also some lemon salt that goes into it?
Yes. It's you get the spiciness, the sourness, the sweetness.
The kala namak.
Yeah. I hope you've got all the components.
I think we've got everything in it. We can take a census. I can see the Bengal gram, I can see the moong, I can see the batani, cashew of course. So this is almost like a spicy version of a granola mix with the lentils, right? I love the crisp crunch of the various lentils. Some of them are harder, some yield a little more gently.
Right.
And then the sweetness that comes both from the cashew and also the toasted raisins. Definitely get this one when you're at India Sweet House.
We have a small lab that we've set up here.
Okay.
Because invariably, we're going on developing newer products, new packaging lines and stuff like that, right?
Okay.
While we test a whole lot of stuff, primarily we're trying to analyze the shelf life here. This is the packaging for this year's season actually.
Oh, okay.
Coming up season.
Manufactured 24th July, packed on 29th of July.
Yep.
And so you're trying to see how the sweets are holding in
How
this.
it's going to hold on to it.
So when a customer buys it at the store, you want to be able to give a certain shelf life to the product.
certain shelf life and be sure that what he's picking up is free of any of these things, right?
In case there's a complaint coming in from any of the stores, there's a traceability factor for us that's going to be there.
So this is now getting ready to go to a store.
Yeah, it's now ready to go to the store.
So I can see it's all small batches. It's not like you've got 100 kilos of kaju katli going.
No, so because we supply it to the stores on a daily basis,
Okay.
so we prefer sending the stocks fresh in the morning. So there's no necessity for us to stock up items at the store.
And I think on that note, it's also time for us to head to one of the India Sweet House stores and taste some more mithai. Let's go. Namaskara.
Namaskara. Thank you for coming in today.
Thank you for having us here. And it's only natural since we've covered the origin
Yeah.
of the India Sweet House story from the dairy farm. We then found our way to the factory. So we had to converge at a store
That's true, yeah.
to finish telling the story and of course also taste some mithai.
Sure. Yes,
Huh?
yes.
Fantastic. So I'm with Shweta Vishwanath and Viresh. So what do you look after here?
So we are at Kengeri store today. It's been about 7 months since we opened this store. Right from day number 1, I must say that the response has been excellent.
I can see a range of things that you have in the shelves out here.
Yeah, so the menu offering is a little
Okay.
diverse, I must say. You not only have some of the new age offerings, but you also have the traditional mithai, the traditional savouries. Chaats is something that today even the young child wants, and plus 60s or 70s, everybody wants to eat chaat today.
So do people come here for the mithai and then stay back for the chaat, or do they come for the chaat and then say?
So must say it's both ways.
It's
yeah,
both ways.
Both ways. So that's newly curated Mysore Pak box.
Okay.
So we have a cart in the duty-free T2 terminal, and some of these boxes have been specially curated for people to take back to. Something from India.
What better sweet gift to take away than a box of Mysore Pak? Also some feni here.
Yeah.
With
So-
some badam halwa, it will be perfect.
Yeah. So we've tried to name and put together mithais from as many places from India as possible, whether it's the Dharwad peda or the traditional Mysore Pak and the Punjabi Dhoda Barfi, Tirupati Ladoo. Yeah.
So the idea is to present the sweet traditions of India
Yeah.
in one place.
Yeah. These are all your must-haves in a mithai store. Variety of barfis and pedas, and this is our one of our signature items, pataka pak.
Well, I've tasted quite a few of them, and definitely something that I would recommend strongly. And of course, out here you also have the atum
Original.
kutum Mysore Pak, the one that crunches like a cookie. So of course, this is your Bengali section.
Yeah.
I think the Bengali section is probably your strongest section because the direct connection with the milk
It's also one of the fastest and the highest selling
items. I'm not surprised because milk plays a critical role in this, and since you produce your own milk,
Yeah.
wonderful. So we have, of course, all the usual suspects that you will find: the cham cham, ras kadam, the rasgulla, the rose rasmalai. Another favorite of mine from this section here is the sheer mohan. I think we should also taste that. And of course, if you have some bisi Mysore Pak, why not? Well, that's a sight that certainly makes you happy because you got some of that tuppa ooze out of that Mysore Pak. I love the manner in which that Mysore Pak is drenching my fingers with all that tuppa. After tasting this, I should leave your store. Because if I taste anything else, it's going to take away from the flavor. I love the flavor of the roasted gram. That is very apparent in this Mysore Pak. And then, of course, rivers of tuppa.
Yeah.
There's some sweets that comfort the cockles of your heart, and the Mysore Pak, and especially a Mysore Pak that's made well, is certainly one of them. Your Mysore Pak also has a bit of weight. Once you eat one piece, I think you will be fairly satiated. I think we should finish this rather quickly because I'm quite capable of penning a poem on the Mysore Pak and move to something else. What should we taste next?
Some savory, if you want to. Yeah.
Good idea.
We'd like you to taste some kodbales.
Plenty of chili. Now that Mysore Pak has almost disappeared from my palate, so which means it's time to take a look at the next mithai. And I think I've got my heart set on the sheer mohan. So this is the third time that I'm going to be tasting the sheer mohan, but it's a sweet that grows on you with every encounter. And the best part I love about this sweet is its near state of weightlessness. So when you pick up any of these other sweets, right, be it a rasgulla or be it a rasmalai, you will feel its weight. But this is almost airy, and it's a dessert that you want to approach with a very delicate touch. You're almost scared of disturbing it in some form or the other. Just a dab of the saffron. I said this earlier too, if air had texture, it would be a sheer mohan. It's as delicate, as dainty as that. I'm going to be tasting the pataka pak next. Like the sheer mohan, this is a sweet that was made first in the India Sweet House
That's
kitchens.
true.
So how did this come about?
We have our biggest critic and in-house master chef is our Sihikai Chandru sir. So this is his child. This is a recipe and a product that he himself came down, did many trials at the kitchen, and this is the final product.
So it's a combination of the besan and the khoa. So imagine the Mysore Pak traveled to distant lands, met a lot of friends along the way, things it tasted and it liked, and it said, I want to take on some of those qualities. Well, that's what the pataka pak is all about.
That's true.
Right, so you've got the besan, the gram flour
Yeah.
to begin with, you've got loads of tuppa, but then you also have the khoa. the milk solids. And of course, you've got the nuts, you've got some anjeer, I can see right there, some dry fruits, and also some tutti frutti. There I can spot some dates in that as well. You know, I love the fudgy character of that pataka pak. For those who know of its origin, and perhaps the name serves to point you in that direction, but otherwise, it's a very far removed, twice over distant cousin from the Mysore pak, right? Because what you're really tasting is that very fudgy sort of a texture of that khova interspersed with all that tuppa and then the nuts. And I guess for someone who probably finds the Mysore pak a little too rich with the tuppa and all of that, and I love the play of textures in your mouth. The bite of the nuts, when you bite into that cashew, it's soft. When you bite into that date, you've got a little bit of that earthy, chewy sort of a texture. And then of course you've got that delightful pop of the tutti frutti every once in a while. Should we taste the Tirupati ladoo next? Why this reminds me of a Tirupati ladoo is because of that sugar crystal that you see embedded in that. So when you bite into a Tirupati ladoo always, prasad, which you take with the blessings of the Almighty, you will always bite into that katum of the kal sakre.
Yeah.
And that's what I see in here, along with a whole host of spices.
So you expect a few things inside a Tirupati laddu, like the lavanga,
the
the ilaichi,
cloves.
yeah, and the pachkarpura.
And the pachakarpura, the edible camphor that makes it a naivedyam. That whiff of that pachakarpura. I didn't get the sugar, but I can hear Sweta certainly got it because I can hear her go katum kutum. I don't know the mic caught that as well. And then of course a bit of the spice, of the lavanga, the cardamom.
Yeah. So that's what makes it the Tirupati laddu.
And now some sugar.
We have some of these sugar-free range. We haven't used sugar in any form, you know.
Sakre illavela. No sugar in any form.
No sugar in any form. So we also have the honey laddu where we've used honey as a sweetener. And then there is sugar-free, which is absolutely no sugar. We've used the dates and anjeer to get the natural sweetness.
So this is the anjeer barfi. That gasgasi also gives it a nice grain of a crunch. Let's try that honey laddu as well. Well, I'm almost like a kid in a candy store. There's so many things that they have in their sugar-free range.
Dry fruits. And you use the honey as a binding agent as well as some sweetness. It gives you instant energy, something that you can stock up.
Yeah, this can also be something to snack on if you're missing breakfast.
Absolutely.
And you're just running out of the door.
Yeah.
Pop one of these dry fruit honey laddus and you are set. Allah?
Something to stock inside the car as well. Let's say you get stuck and can't get on time for a meal.
Yeah. I think we've had enough sweet too.
Yeah. Time for some chaats.
Time for some chaat. Something spicy. So all these things are made at India Sweet House.
Correct, in a factory. Like sweets, what we have done in chaats also is we wanted to add one chat of each state, like Lucknowi Tokri, Kutch ki dabeli we have misal pav, we have chole kulche.
Dahi puri. I think with a chaat, you should just go for it soon.
Is it soggy?
Not at all. Very crispy. And what I like about the crispiness of this puri, it's crisp that it holds it, but it's still very soft to the crunch. Yes. What I'm also liking, enjoying, is the flavor of the mint in the chutney.
Okay, I'm gonna dig in as well.
I think once you get past the curd, the yogurt, the mint chutney, now you're beginning to register some of the other elements. Creaminess of the potatoes.
Yes.
I can also feel a bit of the spice now of the chaat masala. Correct. So this is a popular chaat here?
Yeah, It's very popular.
To me, a good chaat is one that wets your palate and says, "Ek aur ho jaye." Let's try one more.
This is gourmet, sir.
The gourmet. You can already smell the aroma of the ogarne. I can also taste somewhere in there the roasted flour, the gram flour.
So that's
Oh! And the kara. And you want me to eat the chili too?
Yes.
But certainly the spicy gourmet.
In parts of Karnataka, after you eat, the spiciness should be left over in your mouth. Get down spice, they use the flour so that a little bit of spice will come down.
With the gram flour.
Yes.
And if you like spice, I think you will enjoy it.
Spicy bale for a rainy day.
So this is your masala puri. Masala puri is like the chaat equivalent of a bisi bele baat. So it's nice, soft and creamy. And then you got the crunch of the various elements. So as you enjoy that plate of bisi bele baat, you will stumble upon various elements every now and then. And I think a good masala puri is also one of that.
Normally, see what they do, if they want spicy, they don't put sweet chutney. They will not top with the sweet chutney. They will just put a little bit of the red chutney, or if they want the pudina chutney, they will take a topping of pudina chutney.
I think that's the advantage of chaat, right?
Chaat, yes.
You can customize it to every palate. And I think that coriander, it's such a pivotal ingredient in that chaat. Because when you bite it, you have that slightly peppery freshness of that
make its
coriander.
presence felt.
So good. Well, it's certainly been a rather indulgent sweet and chaat tasting here at India Sweet House. I hope you've enjoyed this comprehensive outing. I think it's rare to come across a business that is as rooted in its vision and philosophy, and therefore we felt compelled that the India Sweet House story needed to be told. From its beginning in Karma Dairy Farms to the sweet factories that they have established and the 30 outlets that espouse the organic culinary philosophy of India Sweet House. I've enjoyed filming this episode and I hope you've enjoyed watching this too. Until the next time, take care, stay safe, stay strong and happy eating. If you'd like to support the work that we do at Food Lovers TV, do consider joining our membership community on YouTube by hitting the join button below or on the home page, and receive special privileges like behind the scenes footage, shoot updates, access to live Q&As and a lot more. You could support us on our Patreon page as well. For more info, check out the links in the description below. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, share and leave a comment below. Happy eating.